Persona 5 Tactica is the latest release in the long-running Persona series, something I would consider myself a pretty big fan of. Persona 5 in particular is a game you could say I like a fair bit. So when Persona 5 Tactica was revealed earlier last year, alongside Persona 3 Reload, I was pretty excited. I'd never played a tactics game before. Nothing like Final Fantasy Tactics or a Fire Emblem game, nothing like that. This would be entirely new ground for me, something both exciting and something that made me a little nervous. It's always a gamble jumping into an entirely new genre. So, how does Persona 5 Tactica fare? Hopefully I can help you decide if Persona 5 Tactica is right for you. This is going to be a simple thoughts and impressions video and not a full-fledged review or analysis, so I'm going to do my best to dance around spoilers. I'm also primarily going to be using trailer and stock footage, as setting up my PS4 the way my setup is now is going to be way too big of a hassle for the kind of video that this is. Persona 5 Tactica takes place shortly after the events of Persona 5, and right before the events of Royal's third semester. The Phantom Thieves are, as they so often do, spending time in Leblon. Things quickly go sideways and they find time itself frozen. The world outside has entirely changed and seems to be a lot like the metaverse. They're ambushed by new enemies and overtaken by the new villain in town, Lady Marie. It's not looking good for the Phantom Thieves, as they're captured by the mysterious new villain, until Joker and Morgana are rescued by a mysterious new figure named Irina, who saves them in the nick of time. The newly formed trio escape to the hideout, looking suspiciously similar to Leblon. Joker and Morgana are given a better grasp of their situation and learn that this world has been under Marie's rule for quite some time. The two form an alliance with Irina and her rebel corps, vowing to save their friends and end Marie's reign, leaving it up to our band of thieves to uncover the mystery of this new world they find themselves in. The story for Persona 5 Tactica is a ton of fun and filled with great character moments, but it doesn't quite stand as strong as something like Strikers to me. Granted, with where it takes place in the timeline, it probably couldn't have seen all their growth from after the third semester and the final arc of the game, but seeing something just a little further along in their journey would have been really cool. That's not to say it's bad or anything, because it isn't. It's fun and has a ton of heartfelt moments, especially with the new characters Irina and Toshiro. I just wish it took place a little further out so we could see even more of that growth. This similarly also applies to the Repaint Your Heart DLC, which features the returning Goro Akechi and Kasumi Yoshizawa, who, after finding a mysterious mural in the back streets, find themselves in a mysterious new world and contending with the villainous Guernica, a vandal whose art has the ability to kill people in the real world if not stopped. It's a fairly short campaign, and mainly serves for people who really wanted more of the so-called Royal Trio from Persona 5 Royal, and similar to the base game, has a lot of incredibly strong character moments, but for how long it is, $20 may be a bit steep. I enjoyed the narrative of Persona 5 Tactica quite a bit on the whole. It's a shorter affair, being a spin-off, but I do love the Phantom Thieves and their dynamics, and I'm always on board to see more of them, especially if it's well done like it is here and in Strikers. Repeat Your Heart, if I suppose I could muster one complaint, I wish it took place after Royal's third semester, so development from Kasumi and Akechi could have gone just a bit further. Persona 5 Tactica is quite a bit different from everything else under the Persona series so far, being a tactics game instead of a traditional RPG or an action RPG. You move your party on a grid, strategically placing them to most effectively make use of follow-up attacks, one-mores, and the new all-out attacks, the triple threats. They're effectively the same idea, but require just a tad more setup than the former, and that's really it. It's as simple as the game's namesake, tactically moving your party around to clear the proverbial board as quickly as you can. You start with only Joker, Morgana, and Irina, but as you progress, you quickly unlock the rest of the party. Even Violet and Crow in New Game Plus once you clear the DLC. You're given quite a lot of leeway in how you set up your party, not immediately getting a game over if Joker gets KO'd, and really, you can have your entire party without Joker at all. Depending on your difficulty, you're allowed a few baton passes should any of your party members get knocked out, but much like clearing everything in a few turns, you do get certain awards for keeping everyone in your party alive, not taking a single hit, that sort of thing. My dumb wolf brain really struggles with some of these sometimes though. This is also in part because Tactica has something of a skill tree system where you're given quite a bit of freedom in how your party members grow and gain skills. On top of this, each party member can also have something of a secondary persona. This isn't like Joker's wildcard ability, mind you. It's still their base persona, and Joker only uses Arsene, but the secondary persona gives them access to a skill they wouldn't normally have on their own. This can be quite useful, and I would highly recommend having a persona or two in your party with a passive skill, such as restoring health or SP to party members within a certain radius. The soundtrack is, as it tends to go for Persona games, amazing. Lynn delivers a number of stellar new vocal tracks, but the non-vocal tracks aren't slouching either. There's very little to say about the music because it's a lot harder to describe than the rest of the game, but needless to say, it's very good and I would love to pick it up soon. Those are my general thoughts on Persona 5 Tactica. I'd love to do a more in-depth analysis in the future, but like I said at the start, that's not really possible right now with my current setup. But we'll see what happens if I get the game on Steam. If you liked the video, consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell for more. Leaving a like and a comment helps a lot too. I also have a Ko-fi if I may show that for a second, but you don't have to donate to that if you don't want to. Regardless of everything, thanks for watching.